Welcome everyone to another episode of Music Industry Interviews. Now, this week we have our first duo on the show. We have Krosses. Hello guys.
Hey.
How's it going?
Hey, so just introduce yourself. Tell us about you guys.
Well, my name is Rohan. I'm based in India, and I'll let Elias do his introduction.
My name is Elias, and I'm the other half of Krosses, and I'm based in England. And we have this project together called Krosses, where we produce as a duo, but we actually don't live in the same place.
Yeah, I can't get over that. I really don't believe that.
A lot of people can't.
Yeah, so it's fun. We basically do it over Skype, and we've just been releasing music just like that. You know, the power of the internet, I guess.
Well, yeah, definitely. That's definitely true. So when you are making a track, how does it work then? Who does what? And how do you communicate? Like you just said on Skype.
We pretty much we work in a very organized way now. I think it's just become a well-oiled machine. So we get online on Monday, and right from the get-go, we are on Skype for say 8 to 10 hours a day.
Wow.
We do take up he goes for lunch, I go for dinner because it's time. But we just added, and we share our screens. And when he's doing his stuff, I watch. When I'm doing something, he watches. Sometimes we just mute our mics and work on separate parts. So it just depends on the song and what we're feeling creatively.
Okay.
That's how we've been doing it for a while now. I think we've been doing this 4 years now. So
Are you finding it's working well then?
Yeah. So we've been doing this online, but we have met. So I make it a point to go over to England at least once or twice a year. So we sit in the studio there as well. But predominantly, we make music online, and we're just used to it and comfortable now.
Okay. Yeah. So do you guys do shows together or anything? Or
we have so far. We did 2 shows for Mixmash, and then he came to India and we toured India as well. So we have played together, and we've done a very big festival called Sunburn in India as well. So, the whole premise of Krosses is to start touring and getting our music more out there. But it's been fun.
So let's jump back in time then. How did it all begin? Where did you guys learn music? How did you guys meet? And how did you guys know that you want to start this duo?
Well, for me, I've been a DJ all my life, professional life, at least back here in India. And I wanted to start learning how to produce. So I signed on to Point Blank in London for an online course for 6 months. And I think, I'm speaking for Elias here, but he was part of a band, a metal band, nonetheless.
I used to be in a lot of band, mostly metal bands, like rock bands and stuff like that. And as I got older, I sort of moved away from that and moved into dance music. And like Rohan said, I also wanted to learn a bit more about production. So I did it wasn't a 6-month course, but mine was like a little 4-week course, online course on Point Blank. It was just introduction to mixing and stuff. So I did that, and that's where we actually met. And me and Rohan were the only people on the forum asking questions and stuff.
Yeah.
So we sort of just gravitated towards each other, and we just started sending each other things. And then probably I would say after a year of just talking to each other and stuff and getting to know each other, we were just let's just try and make tracks together. And then I guess that took another year for us to fully get in as Krosses.
Yeah, getting used to each other.
As an actual project. Because we were just we're only making tracks together, so why not actually make it into a project? I know it's going to be hard. We're not in the same country, but it's worked so far, so I don't see why it wouldn't. That's when we started Krosses.
And that was 4 years ago?
That would have been 3 years ago.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years ago, yeah.
What was Point Blank like? Was it a good school to go to?
It was fun.
Yeah. If you don't know, so I knew nothing about producing music, absolutely nothing. Hell, I didn't even know anything about music. I was just a DJ who loved music and played music. So for me, it was an amazing platform because it actually taught me how to make a song from scratch. So for me, yeah, and I also did the 6 months. So I did the complete beginner course. So it involved like, just getting the hang of Logic and stuff like that, then moving on to mixing and mastering, and then just getting into a little bit of detail of dance music production. So Elias and me had one module in common, which was the mix and mastering one. And again, like he said, that's where we met.
Yeah, but it was fun. We did it online. We can't speak to like how it is in person, but online, I mean, the infrastructure they have in place is quite good for like the tutoring and stuff like that. So it's really, really good.
Oh, good. So you guys work on Logic Pro then?
Yeah.
See, we're Ableton.
See, I wish we could do Ableton. Like I always say this to Rohan, but it's like it's too far gone for us to try and switch over because it's a whole thing to learn, and the workflow seems like a slightly bit better, but
I agree. I think it is slightly better, the workflow, but you never know until you try. You can just give it a go, and if not, swap back. But
yeah, I have in the past, and the fact that it's like not linear, and it doesn't like it just feels like everything is just everywhere, and I have no idea what's going on. So that's
what I feel about Logic. So
yeah, literally the opposite, because everything is on the left is on the right, and everything that you want on the left, on the right is on the left. So it's
definitely, yeah.
Your channel strip and stuff is all on the right in Ableton, but it's all on the left in Logic. So it's a funny one, but yeah, maybe somewhere down the line.
So me and Jack are actually in a bit of a similar situation to you guys. I mean, we're both in the UK. We're not quite as far as you two. But I've got another year left at uni, and Jack's just finished.
Okay.
So obviously I'm up in Sheffield, he's at home, and we're trying to still make it work like you guys do, with FaceTime and Skype and whatever. So
yeah. I mean, Skype is so good because, we've never had any issues, but you can literally just share your screen and he can practically see what I'm seeing and hear what I'm hearing, and it's like being in the same room.
Yeah,
and it's great.
Do you use Dropbox to share the folders?
Yeah. Dropbox, WeTransfer, just whatever works on the day. I think most of the projects we just throw on WeTransfer.
Okay.
Because we do make it a point to have the same plugins, and if you download something, I get it. If I get something, he gets it. So we just make it a point that both the computers are kind of configured the same way.
It makes it easier, so we don't have to bounce stems or anything. We just literally throw the project over, and he can just take off where I've started.
100%. Okay, right. So who are your inspirations from when you first started, and who are your inspirations now?
That's a long list.
I mean, for me, it's probably still the same. I got into dance music like way, way late. Like at the end of my college, going into uni. And I'm not ashamed to say it, but like I was really into the commercial stuff, like Calvin Harris, like Alesso and stuff.
Oh yeah, of course.
Those were the things that got me in when it got really, really commercial. That's what hooked me in. But obviously Ryan has a massive dance background. But yeah, I think for me, Calvin Harris was like the main purpose I started doing it. But now obviously people like, Axwell is such a great person.
I think a common one for both of us.
Yeah, I think for everyone that produces dance music, Axwell is some sort of god. Yeah, just anyone like that, I guess. Any of the legends. I'll let Rohan pick his.
It's from a producing point of view, I think it is the Swedes to a large extent, because they did change dance music to a very large extent. Yeah, David Guetta did the whole America thing, made it more commercial. Calvin Harris obviously blew up, less or whatever. But just production-wise and just for dance music purely, I think Axwell's up there for me. It always has. That hasn't changed for a very long time.
Yeah.
So he's an idol. Always has.
I think he's one of mine as well, to be fair.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure every dance music producer who's not into techno or whatever, if you're into house music, in mainstream house music, I think Axwell is going to be your idol.
Yeah, he's got something you can appreciate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would you guys say you've developed your own sound yet?
No. I think
I don't think we have yet. No,
because you've got quite a varied range of tracks and style, haven't you?
Yeah.
And that's our strength, I guess, to a large extent. I keep telling Elias this because a lot of people do ask us that question. But I think the fact that we are versatile gives us the ability to experiment more and put out stuff that sounds different every time, rather than have
always a surprise for the fans.
Yeah, basically. I mean, there are two ways of doing it. Like now, say for example, Alesso, right? Like look at his last 10 songs. It's a complete like up and down graph. Like one's pop, one's dance, one's completely progressive, and one's a little more housey. So, and no one really identifies a particular sound with him anymore. Or a lot of the Swedes now, or even say Get Out or Calvin Harris, like he did the whole funk, and then he went and did One Kiss, and then he did Promises, and so I think it's a versatile thing. But then again, there are other producers that have one distinct sound, and it works for them as well. So I guess it's just what you choose to be and what your goal as a producer is.
Yeah. I think we're definitely, though, trying to maybe narrow the gap of everything a little bit. That's the conscious effort we're doing this year of trying to make more dance records, just to be able to get that DJ support a little bit more, and start gigging a little bit more. You need those club records to be able to do that. So I think that's the main goal for the second half of 2019 and going forward.
Yeah, well, it's good that you've got goals set.
Yeah, but still keeping our variety of if we're doing dance music, it's not all gonna just be the same dance track. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So were you first signed to Mixmash?
Yeah.
So how did you make yourself stand out to them? What was the first track that was signed as well?
Gold. No, I mean, I think Raymond heard Gold, but I think it was Hard Effects and Us, that Waterfall that we first signed, and then Gold out of it.
That's a funny story, actually. The A&R got in touch with Rohan first, and you can probably tell the story about it.
Yeah. I got a random email, I guess 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago, yeah.
Saying that, I'm so-and-so from Mixmash, and, we're looking at upcoming artists from Asia and India as well. So would you happen to have music? And, if you do, could
really?
Yeah. And it was a freak thing because we had sent music to Mixmash, I guess, a little while before that.
I think it was like 6-7 months before that.
And I think the person who got in touch with me was the same guy who kindly replied saying, this is not for us, but keep sending us stuff. And it's just so ironic that he mailed, and I thought it was a joke. I thought it was some spam mail or whatever. And I literally replied back saying, is this for real? And yeah, I'm not kidding. Then I just gave him a quick brief about, Elias and the whole Krosses project and what we're working on. And then we got on a Skype call and we played him a few of our songs that we had in the bank, and he really liked it. And yeah, one thing just led to another, and the whole Mixmash thing just came together after that.
And how many have you got on Mixmash now?
We had Waterfall, Goals, Speed Overdose, Losing My Grip. So I guess that's
Trumpet.
Road Trumpet. Yes, sorry,
yeah.
5.
5, yeah.
Yeah, 5.
Which is your favorite?
Oof.
I still love Losing My Grip a lot. I mean, they also have their special place for us because there's a story behind every song. So that's the good thing with us when it comes to music. We just don't randomly just do anything. It's funny that the story always comes together with these songs. But yeah, I think Losing My Grip is up there for me at least.
How do you channel your stories into the songs then?
It's just, I don't know. It just happens. Like now for Losing My Grip, Elias came up with an amazing riff. He plays the guitar as well, but he came up with a really cool bass line, which had a very sweet influence actually. And we were just randomly sitting and saying, what this could come off. And then he happened to have the singer-songwriter come over for a session that day. And he came and he laid down the lyrics and the whole melody of the lyrics in one take. And the whole song changed direction after that. It was like we had one direction, but he came and sang and gave it a completely different vibe. And then we changed it into what it is today. So yeah, every song kind of has a story like that.
Yeah, I think it's the process, because you start with something and you're trying to say something, but then you get like an outsider's opinion, and then the whole thing, and it's like, actually, oh, this might work better. You're right, and like the story changes, and you just sort of have to play off if you have a songwriter with you, you just play off what they're doing, and then you can sort of complement their story of what they're trying to do with the lyrics with your own melodies. That'll work as well. And you know, to the next step. That's a cool way to do it.
I mean, that happens when you have a singer-songwriter, but if you don't and you already have, then it's again about just it's just the vibe basically you feel in the studio. You're like, okay, is this going in this direction? Do you like it? Yeah, okay, let's take it here. Because sometimes when you sit with a song and you have a particular vision for it, it doesn't necessarily end up sounding that great.
I don't think we've ever had a track where we started and we said, oh yeah, it's going to go this way, it's going to sound like this. And 99% of the time, completely different.
You're just going with the flow.
Yeah. Because when you start forcing things, that's when it doesn't feel as natural, I guess. And then it's not going to sound the best. So, yeah.
Well, to us at least.
Yeah, I mean, other people work differently, but for us, like, if we force something, it doesn't work. The only thing we force is, like, if we're having a writer's block, there's people that are like, oh yeah, you know, just give it a day and just come back and just try again. But me and Rohan are sort of quite stubborn, and we won't give it a day. We would just be like, oh, we'll just have Logic open for like 2-3 hours, and we don't care. We'll just keep at it. And if nothing comes, then nothing comes. But we never like take a break. I mean, I don't know if that's a good way to work, because the stress is real. But,
yeah, definitely. Tension runs high.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, knock on wood, something always comes out of it. But yeah, that's our way, I guess.
I mean, we had Joey Suki on a couple of weeks ago, and he's very insightful into the music industry because he's done it all, basically.
Yeah.
And he gives out a lot of advice, and he was saying the way to deal with writer's block is just to find out how your brain works.
Yeah.
And go from there and see what's going to work for you. So if it is for you guys, just keep on going and push through, then that's what works.
Yeah. It works so far, and I think that's again the beauty of just sitting online every day for hours on end is we kind of have understood each other. Like I kind of get the vibe when he's getting frustrated and irritated. Like I know Elias now. I know his production flow and the way it works, and the same. Like for me, it's just, at least I'm not getting this. Just take it. So I'm not like. So I'm a little more patient. He's not. He's very restless. So these are things that I think over time you kind of understand about each other, and the flow of production kind of gets, I won't say easier, but more free.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So,
have you guys had a full-on blown argument yet?
No, I don't
think we've ever really. No.
Yeah.
Because we don't disagree on anything musically. Like, I think people get into arguments over like if they have conflicting ideas, but me and Rohan, luckily so far, we've always been on the same page musically. I think that's why we sort of gravitate towards each other in the first place, because we sort of wanted to do the same thing. Other than that, no.
As well, we're not. I mean, he might be short-tempered and a little restless, but I don't think our personalities clash per se. Like, he's trying to dominate me, and I'm not trying to dominate him as a producer or as an artist. Like, you know, we're quite grounded that way. We kind of know what our goals are, what it's going to take, what the direction is. So when the basics are kind of, I don't know, just understood, I don't think there's that much friction.
Yeah. What about you guys? Do you guys like...
I think of the two of us, I'm like Rohan. I'm more of the patient one, and then Jack's more can get short-tempered, but it's nothing like catastrophic. We work around it, and
I mean, there's always, it's like any relationship in life, whether it's your family, whether it's, you know, your girlfriend, whatever, boyfriend, you are going to get hurdles. I mean, it's a given. Nothing's going to be smooth.
Me and Jack have been best mates for like 6-7 years.
Yeah.
And then we've just started doing Nuki for the last 2 years. So we already had that relationship before that we knew we could work together on this. So
Yeah, I think that's sort of happened with us as well. Like we had that 1 year, 2 years of like, just talking and making friends, and then that's when we decided to work together. So yeah, I think that's probably the best way to do it, really.
Yeah. So which track is the fan favorite?
That's a tough one. I mean, we keep getting messages for various ones, but I think the recent two have really, really done well. Like, I feel personally, I don't know, Elias may beg to differ, but On Your Own got a ton of great reactions, and then followed by the Nicky Romro remix that we just did. So
yeah, it was. I think I agree with Rohan. I think they were the most fan favorites. I think On Your Own got a lot of emotions in it and stuff, so people really connected with it. We got videos of like people singing it in their cars and stuff, and it was just wild.
Really?
We were like, this is really cool.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And it was like Bittersweet. It was our first official proper remix, so it always has a little, I don't know. It's really special to me because I think we've sort of stepped out of what we were doing as well, production wise, in that track. And I think, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
It's just a massive compliment, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is to like have people be like, oh, this is amazing. And, for Nicky Romro to put it out on his label, and he'll also play on his show and say such great words about it. That was like a really, really cool moment.
Just shows that you're going in the right direction then.
Yeah.
Have you got any tracks coming out in the near future?
So like Elias said, we're working on, I won't say new direction, but we're kind of pinpointing it to a particular direction now. We're kind of like closing in the zone on the versatility and focusing a little more on the club music side of things and the festival music side of things. So we're working on a new kind of direction, and hopefully you will hear some of them in the coming months.
All right. Yeah, look forward to it.
But nothing concrete yet. We're building an arsenal of just songs, music.
Yeah.
And that's when we'll just unleash them all, because we'd want to do it consistently.
Yeah, that's very important, having a consistent release schedule.
Yeah, and we've had that till now. So we were like, well, it's okay to sort of take a little break and just really
work on the music.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be a bit different for you two, I would imagine. So how do you guys start a track?
Every time, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like I will say, okay, I really love this song from back in the day, and the sample sounds good, and if Ellie said agrees, and that's when that begins. Otherwise, the patient person in me loves browsing through samples. So I get on Splice and I dig and dig and dig, or I go onto other sample sites and I dig and I dig and I find stuff. I enjoy it. Elias not so much. So he like
I'm very impatient. Like I'll be trying to look for like a clap or a hat, and like I'll have like 10 sample packs open, and in each sample pack I think I'll go through like 3 and then just move on. I just can't.
So his way of working is, he's really good with melodies as well. So because he's a great guitar player, so he kind of messes around with the guitar sometimes, and gets his chords. So it's just, these are just random examples I'm giving you. We just
definitely.
And times there've been times where for On Your Own, actually, no, actually not On Your Own. For which one did Elliot just come and give us a top line and we start? So if we get like a top line, we work around it. Like if we really like the top line,
that's if we're doing a top line sort of track, then the best way to do it is have your top line already, because then the track builds itself around it. And I think if we're doing a top line, that's our favorite way of working. That's our favorite way to start, is like get a top line ready and then do something with the production.
Just work from there.
Favorite, and I think to a large extent easier workflow, because if you have a strong top line, everything around it just comes together easier.
Yeah, it just sounds better. But if we're doing a dance track, it has to be either like we'll start with like a particular sound. There's people that start with drums and like stuff. I don't know how. I don't know how to do
that. So one thing we've
never done that. But what we'd usually do with, say, if we're doing a dancey track, we'd actually say we'd finish the drop or something like that, we'd mostly start with the drop. That's what we've been doing lately, and it's been working for us. And then just work backwards. So we'd start with either like a sound or like a sample of like an old school sample that we wanted to use. We'll finish the drop, and then we'll start working backwards, because then it's easier to work on the build up once you know what the drop's going to sound like. So you don't have to go crazy, because sometimes you can overdo the build up, and then the drop sort of fails because there's so much hype on the build up,
and then it's underwhelming.
Yeah, and then you keep trying to add to the drop, and then it just ends up being a mess. Whereas if you have a finished drop and then work backwards from a build up, and then you sort of know exactly how much energy you need. Like we just actually, like yesterday, we have a new track that we're working on, and we had like the drop, and we were like, oh, we're really not sure on this. So we were like, well, let's just work on the break and then just see how it gels. And then the second we finished the build up, well, actually, yeah, this works perfectly.
Oh, there you go.
That's our workflow. It just changes from time to time on how we're feeling and how long we've had a writer's block and how long we've had, we've had Logic open for.
What are your favorite plugins that you both use?
I don't know. I do like Serum, and I like Cable Guys' stuff are really, 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 really good.
Yeah.
There's a plugin that we did a little tutorial with that I'm not sure a lot of people know about. I don't know if you know about it, but it's called Halftime, and it's a really cool plugin if you want to get something quirky. Like for our Bittersweet remix, that was the first time we used it, and we were like, whoa, this is a game changer, because you can make such great cool fills with it, and all it does basically is whatever you put through it makes it halftime, and then it sort of manipulates the sound a little bit. If you have a lead, it can, when you make it into a halftime, it can sort of have a bass element to it. So we started just chopping up leads and then putting them through that, and then making it halftime, and then chopping it up again, and then just filling in the gaps of the leads with the halftime lead, and then it just gives you a cool new groove. That's definitely one of my favorite plugins. I would say, like Halftime.
Yeah.
Like Cable Guys.
I'm a little old school. I still like Omnisphere. I mean, Serum is great as well, obviously. Yeah. And I still like Effectrix, because you can do so much with Effectrix. I mean, it's the same thing that Ellie said with the Cable Guys Halftime. Like, we do a lot of, bouncing off. Like, we would put the effect on the bus, play it, and we will bounce it into audio and then chop things up. I think that's something that we enjoy doing. Like, we just don't let the plugin stick and do its work. We like to kind of manipulate the sound a little more, so that it's a little more distinct and original. So,
it's just a lot easier to work with audio, I guess. You just when you chop it up and you have the reverb tails and stuff, you can just clean them up really quickly.
Okay. So when you guys started, how did you guys get better, and how long did it take for you both to get to a point where you're like, okay, yeah, let's send this track out, let's send that track out?
I think we still have doubts at times.
Yeah.
But
I think for me, not till like the last couple of months where I've gotten a bit more confident. Like, yeah, let's send this out. Rohan's always been the more optimistic, confident one out of both of us, and he's the voice of reason. Like, yeah, it's finished. Like, stop working. I think we've been at this like what? So we met and had a year of friendship, and then a year of like, let's get Krosses together, and then 2 years at Mixmash. So yeah, we've been together for 4 years. I think after the first 2 years, that's when I guess we felt more comfortable. That's when we started, sending out to labels like Mixmash and stuff. So it took us, 2 years-ish to get a bit more comfortable. But we definitely have, I mean, I think we're always learning, and I think we still have a long way ahead. And I think if you get too complacent, like, oh, I've had a release on a label, that's like the beginning of the end, really, because, you can always learn.
So do you guys both do this full time?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much. I mean, on the weekends, Alias does have a part-time job, and I DJ as well, because that's our source of income. But yeah, this is what we want to do eventually for a long come. So it's only a matter of time till, the music. I mean, we already have music out. I'm sure more of it is going to come out soon and you're going to hear it. But the whole point about producing is a lot of people think they can juggle it by doing half here and half there.
Not a
but
chance.
I think something like music or anything art oriented, if you're not in it fully, it's never going to pay off.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure you understand that being at uni, like, it's very hard to do both.
Well, I've actually been lucky this year. I've been on a placement year.
Okay.
So, and I've actually had a lot of time off from that where I've been able to focus on this. But I'm sure next year for my final year, I'll notice that struggle.
Yeah. What are you doing at uni?
Business
If you don't mind me
studies.
asking.
No, that's fair, of course, fine. Yeah, business studies at Sheffield Hallam.
Oh, nice.
So I've got to this stage now, and I'm like, I don't want to do business anymore. So
yeah, I think that's, if I'm honest with you, that's literally what happened to me. And Rohan will vouch for it. Like, I did PR and communications at uni.
Oh yeah.
Like, after the 2 years of being at uni, that's when I realized I like producing. I want to produce. So I finished my last year of uni, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take, like a gap year or whatever, and not do any more studies and just concentrate on this. And it happened to be that's the same year that me and Rohan signed with Mixmash. So it just shows, like, when you really give it your full attention, things can happen. So I think, when you finish uni, I think, like, if this is what you want to do, like, it's the best thing to do. Just
100%, yeah. I mean, the thought of going to a 9 to 5, it's just like, nah, I'm all right.
Yeah.
And then me and Jack have such a good time, have such a laugh, like, it just makes sense. This is what we do.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, it'll only get better, like, when you're touring and stuff. Like, as a duo, it's so much more fun than...
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah, than just being a solo DJ.
But it is very tough. I mean, let us warn you, like, it will test you, and it will test your will, and it will test your patience. But
I look forward to it.
So if you have plenty of that, welcome to our world.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's still early days for us.
Yeah.
We're still learning. We're still getting better, but it's still exciting. We have the progress we've made in the last 6 months has been amazing from, like, last year. So
yeah. I mean, like, we're all in the same boat. Like, everyone's in the exact same boat. We're just all trying to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's just such a nice community. Like, everyone's just dead friendly, and
yeah, I think that's the good thing about, like, sort of like the dance community is they're very, very open. Whereas if you're producing other styles of music, I feel like it's a little bit harder.
Yeah, it's a bit more cutthroat, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even this is, but again, here also, I think we've just been lucky to meet some good people.
Yeah.
And friendly and, supportive and stuff. You will meet the odd dick here and there. I mean, it's bound to happen. I think that just happens in life anyway. So, but yeah, so far it's good. And once you do break into the community, you, especially with good music, you will always be respected and spoken to quite well. I think so, at least. I mean, at least that's what happened with us. Like, the more music we put out there, the more nice people were, the more respectful they were, because, they understand what it takes, because you really do have to grind to get stuff out there. So I guess that inbuilt respect comes mutually.
Yeah, well, it's definitely exciting. So I'll look forward to it. What collabs have you guys done?
Not many, actually.
We had the Keanu Silva one.
And Sweet Overdose with Supreme.
Yeah. We've done
Waterfall with Hard Effects.
And Trows. They do a lot of stuff now with Sam Feld.
Yeah.
All right.
They were on the vocals for that. Really nice guys, actually.
How did you find doing the collabs? Like, was it easy, hard? Was it frustrating? Did you get on well with them?
Good. I think the Sweet Overdose one was really fun because that was the first time, because we flew out to Vienna, and we actually sat in the studio for the very first. Well, no, actually, it wasn't for the very first time. We've done that before, but it was like the proper first time that we started a track with someone outside of us in the studio at the same time.
Right.
And to see that actually come to being a finished track, that was really fun because it was like, oh, so it wasn't a wasted, 2-day trip to Vienna. Do you know what I mean? It was really exciting. It was like, yeah, we can do this then. It's like a sort of a little reassurance that, it's this is something we can do. So I think that was that. To be fair, I think that's probably my favorite collab that we've done. And then the Keanu Silva one was actually insane as well. Actually, that's also really good because that was just done by email, and it was like literally we had finished that track in like probably like less than a week because it was like a rush deadline for the little album, Mixmash album. Right. But that was really fun as well.
That was literally Elias, and I mean we did that here because Elias is touring here. I mean we were touring India, and then we were flying out to China for the Smash tour, so we really had no time. So he was here, and we literally finished it in like 5 days.
Yeah.
So that was fun as well. So that's why I said like each song comes with a different story.
Yeah, definitely. What's the dream collab?
Axwell, if he's hearing this.
I mean, if Axwell does like like an edit or a cut of one of our tracks in the future, then I think that's enough.
We've arrived. Yeah, we've arrived.
It's enough. Like, it doesn't have to be a full collab. It could be just an edit, and we'll be happy with
You'll
that.
take that.
Yeah, we'll take that. That's cool with us.
What are your guys' setup like? What are you guys on? Speakers, headphones, desktop, PC, laptop?
iMac and just a simple, complete NI sound card and the Yamaha SH80s. Simple, very simple setup.
Yeah, and I'm on an iMac as well. I'm slightly different with the speakers. I'm on a KLK's 5s, and I've got a Apollo Twin sound card, which I just got.
Do you find you guys have, say if you're producing and you're mixing, do you have debates about what you're both hearing because you've got different speakers?
So mix-wise, yeah, because what happens is usually over Skype, obviously, neither he or me judges the mix because obviously the sound is not very clear. So when he sends the bounce over, that's when we decide, should we push this up? Should we push this down? Sometimes there's not enough bass, and I feel there's a lot of bass. So it's just a matter of finding balance. But eventually, I think it all boils down to our ears.
Yeah,
and
I think usually what happens is I can hear a bit more bass than he can. So I usually turn down the bass a little bit, and then he'll hear it, and he'll be like, actually, no, you need to turn the bass up.
Yeah, because the KRKs are quite bass heavy, aren't they?
Yeah, they are quite bass heavy. So I will hear a bit more bass, so that's how I will judge it. But then when he hears it, and if he says it's there's too little bass, then I'll know that we need to turn the bass up. If he says there's too much bass, then I'll definitely know there's too much bass, and then I'll turn that down. But yeah, and then we'll just do the tests in the car and stuff.
Yeah, that's always the fun part.
Yeah, that's usually when we either cry or we go, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. So how many gigs a year are you both doing as Krosses?
We haven't really done much yet, which is why the focus is club music now, because as you know, the releases previous to this are a little more radio friendly. They're not very club bangers or festival bangers. And I think today it's two extremes. You either have a radio hit and you're touring the world, or you have to have consistent, good dance music getting out there. So, and the chances of having a radio hit, one in God only knows what the number is.
I can imagine.
But, putting good quality club music out there is not as difficult. I mean, there are people doing it consistently, but I still feel the quality is not as great as the radio space. So you can make a dent in that market. So that's where our direction is this year. Yeah. And hopefully we will tour more because of that direction now. The plan is that the goal by the end of 2019 and beginning 2020 is to start touring as much as we can.
Yeah. So do you do any gigs, Elias?
I play just under my name. I mean, I've been doing this in India for the last 10 years now. So I travel across the country and I play on the weekends. And It's all right. I mean, India's a different animal altogether when it comes to gigs. It's a very evolved market in the whole of Asia, I must say. I think probably the most evolved. I think Japan's not far behind, but music-wise, people understanding good dance music, I think the market here is insane.
Good.
Yeah. So nothing on my end though, no. Because he started off as a DJ, so he can DJ. I only really want to DJ as Krosses, so don't really want to.
Can you DJ, or are you still picking it up?
Yeah.
I can, yeah.
Oh,
so I don't want to do that till like the sort of Krosses thing
takes off.
Yeah, I get that. How did you come up with Krosses anyway, the name?
Randomly.
It's just stupid.
Of just, I don't know, we would have gone through 1,000 names and it was like, no. Either he'd like it and I'd hate it, or the other way around. And I don't know, we were just on the phone the other day. I saw someone crossing and saying, how about Krosses? And there you go. It's as random as that.
That's legit the story. Like I wish we had such an amazing, like, oh, you know, it was a spiritual awakening, and we found our name.
That's funny, isn't it?
But we don't have that. And it was like, oh well, you know, Krosses, you know, we're cross continental. We, you know, you're there, I'm here, just crossing.
Just sounds nice, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I was just like, yeah, sure, Krosses, yeah, that works.
And who did the logo? Because I really love that.
I think it was a friend of yours, Rowan, right?
Yeah, he's up north in Delhi, but yeah, there was a friend of ours. I mean, there as well, because we're very fussy. I think that's very, very similar that way when it comes to like visualizing things sound-wise. We're very picky and fussy, and it has to be the best. So after like a month of, again, like back and forth, we finally really loved this and said, yeah, this is us.
It's a really cool, like, identifier that you can put on anything, that little S. So, yeah, it's really cool. We like it.
Okay, so do you guys go to festivals much, or?
We're making a debut this year together. I don't think we've been to a festival where we played together, but that was in India. Yeah. And we've never like, because every time I go there, it's like, you know, 15, 20 days of just, we need to do this, we need to get that. So there's never any time. But this August, when I'm back in England, we have planned going together somewhere. So hopefully that will work out. We will know in the next week, but that's the plan this year.
It's basically Creamfields.
Yeah, that's where I'm going this year.
We're trying to go to Creamfields. If it works out, I think it'll be our first festival together as just people watching.
Just.
I think it's hard as artists, and I used to hate it as like when I used to be in a band, and I didn't really like going out to gigs. You know, if I wasn't playing, and it's just unless it was like someone amazing. And I think it's the same here. Like if it's like it's not someone like blowing my mind. I don't know.
Yeah. Have you been to Creamfields before?
No, I haven't. No.
See, it's my 4th year in a row this year, so.
Well, maybe we're there. We'll probably see you then.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. You'll have to let us know. We'll let you know if we're there, and then we can meet up.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Jack's probably not going to go. He's not actually been to festival yet, but he does want to. So if he can sort that out, then great.
Yeah.
So okay, to we did get some fan questions actually.
Oh, you did. All right.
So, if you could be any vegetable, which would you be and why?
Jesus. Oh, that's a tough question. That's one of the
question ever been asked before in the history of questions.
I mean, I don't want to be a vegetable.
I would be a pepper, a red pepper. Yeah, I like peppers.
Eating a lot of broccoli lately, I might just say broccoli.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Interesting responses. Can get a nice salad going soon.
Yeah, absolutely no logic to our answers, but peppers are nice.
This next question's a little bit biased, but how do they stand in front of walls so well?
Oh yes, I think I know who asked that. I think over the years you sort of build the confidence.
Oh yes,
of standing in front of walls, because at first you're quite shy. It's like,
once you get the Mixmash release, that's it. Any walls, you're a bitch.
Exactly. Like at first you're like, oh, do I lean on it? Do I look at the wall? Do I face away from the wall? But I think you build that confidence to be able to stand in front of it quite well and have someone take your picture. Yeah.
More of a serious question. Are you guys doing more tutorials soon?
That's the plan.
Once a month at least.
We're
Once
trying.
a month?
Yeah. We're going to try. I mean, it's a big ask. We've done, what, two, three? Two.
One last month and the one before that. So hopefully one in the coming month, basically.
Yeah. We're trying. I think if people, it's hard to try and do something that's not been done before, like done to death, because there's so many. And we want to try.
I mean, you could just do it better.
Yeah, you could. We're trying to do sort of like little bite-sized ones where you could just sort of just throw it up on IG.
Yeah, definitely. That's what me and Jack saw. And we saw, I think Jack showed me your vocals one, and it was.
Yeah, the vocal one. Yeah, that's quite nice. Yeah, that we're trying to do some more stuff like that. Because it's a hassle for people to we'll go check it out on YouTube, blah blah blah. It's just a quick bite-sized thing. So we're just trying to get any tips that we know, or if anyone has any questions, we're always answering questions in our IG DMs and stuff. So
all right, I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, last two questions then that I ask everyone. What's been the biggest highlight so far?
Just put music out. I think that was the biggest challenge when we got together, because we've been through the drill like anybody else, I'm guessing at least, of sending emails, not getting replies, sending emails, still not getting replies, and then eventually putting music out on a very recognized and respected dance label, and then more recognized and respected dance label. So I think the platform to put out music has been a highlight for me, that you're good enough to put it out there, and then obviously people sending us texts and videos and shuffle videos of liking it. I think that's been another highlight as well, that not only are we putting it out there, but people are actually liking what we're putting out.
Well, for me, I would say
I know what I'm going to say.
It's definitely Play in China. It was just another whole beast. It was just the whole experience, not even just the gig, just going out there, the hospitality, playing the show, and just being around that scene. It was just great, and it was yes, this is exactly what you wanted.
Meeting Luke for the first time, and he actually tweeted saying he
that was a massive highlight. We played right before Laid Back Luke, and he tweeted saying he's one of the best support sets that he's heard in a while.
Wow.
And it was just that's crazy. If Laid Back Luke can say that, who's probably a really well respected DJ, who's quite picky about his DJ sets, and he's vocal about how people play.
Yeah, he is, isn't he?
So to have that's a really cool to
Very good. And what's the end game? What are your goals and where you would like to take this?
I want to start my own tequila brand. That's the only reason I'm doing this. To be quite honest, I want to
hang out with Calvin Harris and grow some vegetables.
Yeah,
peppers and broccolis.
Yeah, exactly. Peppers and broccolis. But ultimately, yeah.
Why making music with him in his studio in LA? I think that's a goal.
Yeah.
All right, and then last thing to round off. What advice do you have for new people that want to get into the industry?
Don't do it. That's a standard reply to that. I think it's time, and then it's time, and it's time. It takes so long, and the most important thing is you have to be sure you want to do this, because the journey's so hard that if you're doing it for the wrong reasons, you're not gonna last.
Yeah.
So, production and all of that, comes with time. You can learn all of that stuff. You can watch 100 YouTube videos and you just learn that. But I think the dedication is, you have to be dedicated. You have to wait, 3, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years to even get your foot in the door. And then when you get your foot in the door, that's even a bigger battle. Because up till then, you've been on your own timeline, right? You don't really you have no deadlines, but then you start releasing music, and then people start listening to you, and then people start wanting more, and then that's when people start being more critical about your work, and then that's when you have to really double down on it. And I think that's usually when people quit, because then they realize how difficult it really is to like get your foot in the door and then get to the top. So that's usually when people quit. But it's like when you get to that point, you just need to double down. So if you're starting out, all we can advise you is it's gonna take time, and don't get disheartened. People are not gonna reply to you. There's people that won't talk to you. There's people that will ignore your emails, and you just have to have the balls to keep sending your emails out,
Yeah.
and just keep doing it. Because like I said, it's time. That's my biggest.
Same thing. There's nothing else to it. Actually, it is time. Sometimes it can happen in a year, in 2 years. Sometimes it can happen in 10. Like, he's speaking about time. I remember in 2013 or 14, I was in Ibiza and I saw Don Diablo open for Swedish House Mafia. I think that was just before they split up. And and he'd been producing, and he says he's been producing since 2000, 2001. And he was literally opening before SHM in 2030. And look where he is today, 4 years down. He's one of the biggest brands and one of the biggest guys in dance music.
I actually just booked my Don Diablo ticket this morning for London.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a legend, and he's, people like that are inspiration to people.
He's created a movement though, hasn't he?
Yeah.
So
I heard him, man. I'm telling you, I had goosebumps in 2013, 14 when I heard him, because he was so different from everyone else, even back then. Like, apart from Starlight, he had such weird sounding house music, which no one was used to, because everything was up in the air kind of banging stuff. And he just stood out like a sore thumb. And yeah, man, 6 years down the line, look where he is. He's on top of the world. So it's just time.
It just goes to show like that the guy's been doing it for 20 years, and only in the past 5, 6 years?
Yeah.
Well, not even that. 4 years, maybe?
yeah, I think that's 4 years. That's when he's taken off. Because I've been following him for about 5 years.
Yeah, exactly.
16 onwards is when the steep climb started. But just see, that's dedication for you.
Yeah, exactly.
So he had a lot of close calls where he nearly left the industry, I believe, anyway.
Yeah. He keeps saying that, doesn't he?
Yeah. So, yes, he's definitely an idol.
It's a very, very hard business, but it's also a very gratifying business once you get into it. So even that one person saying, man, I love your song, it changed my life, is probably a feeling no amount of money can buy. Like,
that's
no
what
amount.
Deadmau said as well. He said if you can affect one person with your music, then it's worth it. So
It's
exactly.
It's so worth it.
Like you're not like if you're not a doctor, nurse, or anything remotely important that everyone should be doing, there's no other job in the world that'll give you that satisfaction of like being able to help someone with like, even with just I know it sounds so weird to say, oh yeah, you changed someone's life with your music, but like like Don Diablo has,
it's powerful.
Yeah, it's powerful. It's quite nice. And yeah, if you can make one person happy, then I guess it's all worth it. One person other than yourself,
or your duo partner.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, as long as I make Rohan happy, then that's really what I'm in this for.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So thank you for coming on today. It's been
Thank you for having us.
A very good chat. Just let everyone know where they can find you.
Instagram mostly is where we do all of our business. So it's just Krosses Music. Yeah. It's just Krosses Music on Instagram.
Yeah.
You could Krosses Music on everything really: Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud. KrossesMusic@gmail.com as well.
Well, I'll leave a link in the description below for everyone to come and check you out.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
Thanks very much, guys, for coming on. It's been great having you.
Thanks so much for having us.
No,
Thank
you're
you
welcome.
so much.
And we'll be back next week with another episode of Music Industry Interviews. So, see you later, guys. Cheers.
Bye.